In today's video, we're going to be working on this Seadoo Speedster or Sportster, depending on what year you have. They kind of did a little bit of a name change, but it has the 4-stroke, 3-cylinder, 4-tec engine, and I'm going to be changing the fuel filters on this. So just part of routine maintenance. If you guys have one of these boats and you haven't seen our other videos, we've done oil change, spark plug change, all sorts of maintenance items for this, as well as redoing all the upholstery and cleaning the whole boat, putting on this top, all sorts of stuff. So in order to change the fuel filters, you're gonna need to remove your seat right there. And if yours is from the factory, you're gonna have two big push pins at the back. You can see on mine I have Velcro now. And then there's that big access panel right there, which you just unscrew. So you turn it counterclockwise, it unscrews, and then we have direct access to our fuel pump. So once we take that out, then there'll be some plugs, and we'll go ahead and assess that as necessary. That way we can get to the fuel filters and change them out. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're gonna unscrew this, remove the lid, and then you're gonna see here, so we've got our fuel line connection, and it looks like a vent hose as well, which has a little band clamp on it, and also our connector. So first things first, let's unplug the connector. Our power is off to the boat, so we don't have to worry about any of this stuff. And then you're gonna see a series of nuts around the perimeter of it. So as far as this connector here for our main fuel, you're gonna squeeze the little tabs and pull on it at the same time. Might be a little bit of fuel, which there is. So just be aware of that. If you want to get a rag, not a bad time to do it. So we'll get our blue rag so it's not spewing gas all over the place. And we can remove our line. Okay, so there we go. Our line is off. Now let's get this vent hose off. Looks like a little band clamp right there, and then we can just take out all the screws. Okay, so hoses are all off. Everything's disconnected. Let's go ahead and remove these 8 mils all the way around. Be careful not to drop any of our hardware, and then we can pull the module out. All right, so just be careful. These were actually like really stuck to the top, and as soon as I kind of unlodged this thing, all these stainless washers went flying all over the place. Luckily, they were all on top of the tank. And when you lift this up, just be careful because there is a float here. So try not to dump fuel everywhere, but it looks like you almost have to. There's fuel in this canister here, but you have to manipulate the float to get it out here. So let's see, there we go. So there's the float. Also pay attention to the orientation. There's an arrow that points to this side of the boat, so opposite of the driver. And then this can come out. We'll take this out and let's go ahead and we'll go over. We're gonna have to dump the fuel out of it. And then here's our socks on the bottom, which probably look to be original. And then we'll get them swapped out. I'm not gonna believe just how deteriorated this original filter is. It is literally just crumbling. Like, look. That is wild. So I don't know if that's because of the fuel, but it is just disintegrated. Look at that. So definitely not a bad idea to replace these, you guys. I don't know if this is necessarily the issue, but it's having some weird kind of like fluctuating RPM issues with this thing. And I don't know if this thing was just jammed up, and I mean, it probably can't flow all that well if it's crumbling, so be interesting to see. We also got another filter that's inside of here, but let me pop this one off. Let's get a little pry action from behind here. There we go. So there's one off. Now to figure out how the other one comes out. So there's 3 tabs on the top here. You just squeeze them to get this out. Okay, so the way that works, you guys, is you squeeze these 3 tabs right here so that it releases the top from the bottom. Then this just pulls straight out, and there's a spring that's applying pressure to the module that's inside here, and then you just pull up on this and it comes up with the pump. So I'm curious to see what condition this, oh my gosh. That is insane, you guys. Look at that filter. So I would not be surprised if this was the issue that I was facing. Just seeing the condition of this. I don't know if this is because of the ethanol fuels or what the reasoning is, but either way, it's not good, you guys. Not good at all. Okay, so here's that off of there. I have to retrieve, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I have to retrieve the other piece that is stuck in the bottom there. It almost seems like a really long needle nose or something. Let me see how I'm gonna get that out. Okay, so after about 20 minutes of trying to dig this out, I finally got it out of the bottom, you guys. I was just about ready to drill out these rivets on the bottom to remove this bottom cap, but right at the end, I finally got it out. So it's all out, it's clean inside. I don't know if this is a common issue or not, but like, this stuff is it just tears. My only concern is I hope that nothing got stuck in the pump, because obviously we're relying on our filters to filter out stuff from getting in the pump. So I just hope there's not a bunch of junk stuck in the pump. I don't see anything, but that's my only thing. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it was just the fact that the filters were all bunged up, and I'm sure they don't flow that good when they're just disintegrating like that. So maybe that's what my issue is, but let's get the new filters on here. So first up is the little guy, the one that goes back in the bottom of there. So we'll get this one out. It's gonna go on the bottom here. So that's pretty straightforward. Oh, there's a little alignment tab there on the rubber piece that it aligns with. Might have to, probably helps to put a little bit of oil on that, but we'll see if we can get in without it. It's the little rubber grommet that we gotta push through here. Let's see if I can help it with a little screwdriver. So it's almost in. And there we go. There is this little rubber gasket with this stainless washer that goes in the very bottom, so once you get the filter out, it kind of just pops out of there or falls out. So just make sure you reinstall that. This goes on the bottom, and then this goes on the top. I don't know if you can see there, but the washer's there. You can see right here, so it's like a little check valve, and that's back in place. So now we can send our pump back in. So we slid this back in. Just make sure that it lines down below so you kind of see the way the sock sits in the bottom, and it's offset honestly to this side. And then we're gonna go ahead and throw our big spring back on here. That's gonna keep pressure on it. Throw this back in here. And then we're gonna line this back up like so. Guide that back into there. And pray that there's not filter material stuck somewhere in the regulator or in the pump. So slide this back together until she clicks. There we go. So it's applying pressure there. I unplugged this, just the fuel level indicator. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this back in, like so. And we're just about ready to install. We're just gonna put our one sock on the bottom here, and then we should be good to go. So here we go with this one. So we'll throw this guy on. That one's pretty easy. It just sits like that. And let's go ahead and reinstall this. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get this back in. So make sure all your connectors, if you disconnected any, are back. And we're gonna go ahead and lay this up. So go ahead, throw this in here. I'm gonna line this up. You have to play the same game with your float. So just tuck it in, rotate it. And then again, the arrow is gonna face opposite of the driver. Put this in. Line up our holes. And there we have it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put on all these washers, and we'll tighten down all of our 8mm nuts. Okay, so everything's on, everything's good. Double check your work. Reinstall the plate. We'll screw this on. Reinstall your seat, and we are completed. So that'll be a wrap for this video, you guys. If you found this helpful or informative, make sure you give it a thumbs up for me. Also subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. We have a lot of content on this thing. Maintenance, oil change, spark plugs, you know, putting a top on it, reupholstering the seats, all that stuff is on this channel, and we're going to continue to make content for this. Also, everything that we use, those filters, is going to be down in the description below, so you guys can check those out for a good price, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.